A few months ago, I was telling myself that it wasn't worth posting anymore. I was tired of not getting views, the overly edited videos that I was doing, but also a lot of other people were doing, and it just felt empty. I didn't want to do it anymore. It just wasn't me. So it led me to take a step back, not post for a little while, and ask me a very simple yet very powerful question. And that question is, what do you actually want? And it might sound simple on the surface, but really, when I asked myself this question, I didn't really know what I wanted. So it led me to think for a little while, and it might be the exact same thing for you. So when I started thinking about this question, I realized that what I wanted to do was, or what I wanted to have, was freedom. I wanted time freedom, meaning that I could work whenever I wanted. And it turns out I actually quite liked filming videos. I just didn't like the overly edited videos. And that's what I'm trying to do more and more, is trying to edit the videos a lot less and hopefully do them in one take. I also wanted to have financial freedom. I didn't want to have this burden on myself that what am I going to do? How am I going to end the month? How am I going to pay my rent, etc., etc. And I know a lot of you are like this. I didn't want, but because I wanted this, I couldn't just have a full-time job. So what was I going to do? And the last one would be location freedom. I wanted to travel quite a bit or be able to travel a bit. So I wanted to have location freedom. So that again leads me to not have a job. If I had a full-time job, I wouldn't be able to do that, at least not in my own terms. Yes, some jobs you actually travel, but it's not really your own terms. So that led me to thinking, what am I going to do with my life, or what am I going to do for work? What would I actually enjoy doing? And this is all to answer the very first question of, what am I going to do? What do I actually want? Not what society tells me to, not what society wants me to learn or to do, or not what my boss would want me to do, or anything else. It's just about, what do me as a person, what do I want? And it turns out it's all of those things, but then I need to realize, what am I going to do in order to achieve this? And realizing that it might not be something that's going to click in very fast, but it might take me a little while. So what am I going to do that I'm going to enjoy doing? And it turns out that it's always been having a personal brand. A lot of people like talking about the personal brands or their passions, and to you, it might be skiing, it might be gardening, it might be something completely different, or technology. It doesn't really matter what you want to do, but if you're like me and you want all of those things, which is time freedom, financial freedom, and location freedom, you will have to start talking about something that you enjoy. Because if you don't, then it's going to leave you dead inside, and you probably don't want to do that, and you're going to end up chasing views and feel like me, where you don't even want to post anymore. So your videos need to start to look like yourself, not like somebody else's videos, if that makes any sense. It's all about you. It's all about your story and sharing your story. And I think that's the most important thing when you're starting a personal brand, because when you look at seeing a personal brand, especially if you're like me, I'm 37, but some people are maybe older than that, and you're thinking about personal branding as this thing that isn't real, that is fake and things like that. And in my older videos, I did talk about this, and people understood this as about not wanting any views, or you know, if you had a big following, it was meaning that you weren't fake. And I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that it has to be real to you, but it's not correlated to the number of views you get, especially if you're targeted to the right audience. For me, it's people that are probably a little older than most people on YouTube, but are also wanting to build a personal brand that maybe are hesitating to do this because they have a family life and they have all these different things that maybe a full-time job that you just can't get away with as fast, and you need to have something that doesn't take so much time. And that's also why I like to cut down my editing, because instead of spending hours, hopefully over time I can just do this all in one take, and this video is the closest to that I've been able to do so far. So the reality is, no matter the age you have, whether you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s or 60s, it's not too late. You can actually start a personal brand and be able to make a lot of money. I know that a lot of us, we go on YouTube and we see people that are 18 years old making millions of dollars, driving Ferraris and Lamborghinis, but you can also do this when you're older, and your goal is probably not going to be to drive a fancy car, or it could be that you want to drive a fancy car, but most of all, you want some freedom in your life to be able to maybe spend time with your families and things like that, rather than answering to a boss that you really don't care about, and probably he doesn't really care about you either. So if you want to keep your job and you love your job, then that's awesome. But if you want something different and something more, you can also do this even when you're still at that job. And some people are actually doing this. Some people are working at jobs that most people would consider an entry level job, but they love that job and they will talk about that on social media and make a lot more on social media than they would in a normal job which pays them minimal wage. And this is a true story, by the way. I've heard about this a few times now. So it's all about being efficient with your time, knowing when you're going to script your videos or not script your videos, but at least bullet points. I have my bullet points right here. You probably can't see them, but that is what I have. I have bullet points. I don't have something crazy. And the intro is the most important part of the video. That's all word for word, but apart from that, it's just notes of what I want to include in my videos. So if you're doing this, it can be very efficient and you can have a full video done in a very short amount of time. Actually, the longest part of the video for me is coming up with the thumbnails, because I'm not very good at that, and I want to find something that works for me and not resemble anybody else, that people that I want to look at my videos can actually watch, not 16 years old or anything along those lines. The idea of this is it's all about meaning and not performance. You want to have something meaningful that you want to talk about, not performance orientated. Because if you're chasing the views, the subscribers, then you're going to feel dead inside. But if you're chasing building a real business, building a real personal brand, something that you love talking about, that's going to help you, no matter the amount of subscribers, whether you have 100 subscribers or 1,000,000 subscribers or 1 view and 10 million views, sure, 10 million views will be good because you're actually having the right audience, but you don't have to get that 1,000,000 views in order to have a great business. And if you do have 1 view, then it's probably not quite going to be enough, but at least that 1 view is the person that actually wants to watch your videos and that likes your message. And that's another reason why you probably don't want an overly edited video, is because why are the people watching until the end? If they're watching your video until the end, then they're probably a very good person that you want to watch your videos because they're interested in your message and not what you want to talk about. And that's something I want to leave you with. Make sure that you build a personal brand around something that you like, and not only that, but everything, the ins and outs of your personal brand should be you. If you want some overly edited videos, or what I consider overly edited videos, and you love that format, then go for it. But if you want something raw, like I'm doing now, then also go for it. And same goes for the thumbnails, same goes for the editing, the way you talk, the way your background is set up, everything comes into play. My background has a few lights, but it's actually very simple. I turn that on very quick. So that's my message, and I have a video that's somewhere up on the screen that YouTube thinks you should watch, so you should probably watch that video.